That pond would be in there. This one's, like they said, when real work there. The first major went out of space. And there was concrete. In this one, it was the winds are doing now, it's going to be there. Because you can't always force people without an HOA. That doesn't mean you can't coordinate. So is your pond owned by the city or by the HOA?
We'll have to dig into it.
Yeah. And if you can get it all,
yeah, and that's something else.
I'm hoping on that.
Ready to get started? Yeah. All right. Well, looks like we'll call the order to the Planning Commission meeting. Thank you, sir. And looks like everyone's present today. We'll do the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for coming out tonight. Good crowd. Is there any changes or additions to the agenda items?
I made note number 11 in our staff list was not officially on the agenda, but number 11 will be coming off permanently.
Permanently?
Yeah, this was so it's already approved at 20 units of Flatwood. The developer wanted to decrease to 11 units, making them larger lots, but there was additional work that he would have had to do. It wasn't just as simple as decreasing. So he's going to stick to the original plan. So that's the only thing.
Okay. So do we have a motion to approve tonight's meeting agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda. Second.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. And approval of the prior meeting minutes from July 8th. Any corrections or anything to discuss? All right, make a motion.
Motion to approve.
Anybody want
Second.
And any opposed? Motion approved. All right, and see, just we'll do public comment. Didn't look like anybody signed up, but if anybody wants to speak, we're good. Okay. All right. So, looking at the consent agenda items, CJ, you said we just do items 1 through 5, and we'll discuss those.
Yeah, there's bond. Staff looked at all the requests for bond reduction. Typically, the bond reduction is the only thing we review. If they hadn't came before us for a reduction, it's an automatic 15% increase. So combine all 5 of those, we reviewed and looked at everything. Like the last one, number 5, Highland Park was the only one that we all signed up. Public Works, Sewer, and Stormwater and Roads looked at everything and agreed that the reduction. It's not acceptance, but it reduces it 25% of the total cost because they have everything in. So we were able to actually see that originally it was just dirt. And now they have the asphalt and the infrastructure in to reduce it prior to them accepting.
1 through 4 are actually extensions, about 15%.
Correct.
So we're good.
And number 5 is a reduction.
Any comments on 1 through 5? Okay.
make a motion we approve.
All right.
Second.
Any opposed?
All in favor?
All in favor?
Affirmative vote.
Oh, sorry. All in favor to approve?
Aye.
And any opposed? If not, motion carries. Item number 6 is the public hearing item for White House Medical Center, the building, White House Medical Building, and Kimley Horn. Request recommendation for the board and mayor to rezone 3.6 acres from R20 to low density residential C4.
So let's not get this confused with anything we've seen in the news about an ER. Nothing has came to my office for that, so I can't answer anything about an ER. But this is for an oncology clinic. The church at Grace Park is re-subdividing the land. Currently, they're just asking for the Church of Grace Park, they're asking for the rezoning to C4, which accommodates the oncology clinic. This is in the mixed-use district, which is fitting under the comprehensive plan for this use across from near the Crossroads Medical Center. So it will be fitting for the C4 request. They don't have a plan currently, as they're waiting on the rezone before they pursue the plan.
So that little drawing that was attached, that's not anything real yet, it's just a little drawing that was attached to their request?
Yes.
That's really not
Yeah, correct.
it yet?
I mean, yeah, they had officially submitted the site plan. We just request kind of a, sketch or scheme to show what's gonna go on the site.
All right. Any other comments? Discussion items? Okay. Motion to approve? Okay.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Item number 7, Berean Baptist Church request recommendation to the Board of Mayor or Alderman to annex 5.82 acres.
So this is located on Marlin Road. Just to note that there would not be what's known as a donut hole. It is contiguous to where the city maintains the road. Across the street, that particular parcel is inside the city limits. So this would be contiguous to our city boundary. Something that came to mind that I didn't put in my staff notes, I know people were thinking like if we annex in property, it could potentially be housed, a neighborhood or development. But this is only 5.82 acres, and it would come in as R20. So, it would not be a PUD or it wouldn't be a neighborhood. The applicant or pastor was requesting because he wants to expand the church, and currently the septic tank, the septic system doesn't accommodate for that expansion. And according to somebody that came out, they couldn't expand the septic, so he wants to get on city sewer. This wouldn't cost the city. This would be on the developer and the church to pay for pay for the services to expand. So I've had questions of whether it would be on the city to, put in the pipe, and that it wouldn't be on the city.
And the sewer's already there on the
Yeah,
street?
there's a sewer line in there.
So they're expanding the building?
Yeah, I think it was a couple hundred square feet they were expanding.
And the R20 zoning, is that?
20,000 square feet. Let's hypothetically say that if, for whatever reason,
Right.
It would have to be only probably 3 houses could go on there.
But does
20,000 square, two houses.
Churches?
No, it's 5. Okay, let me start that.
Churches though on a R20?
So this typically, since the church exists, it doesn't have to get special exceptions, as I understand it. Whereas like when coming before you point out Seventh-day Adventists, they got a special exception. I guess I don't know if we'd have to bring it through the process of that special exception.
So what's the normal zoning for a church?
It could be an R20. Yeah. So I guess because we're annexing this in. Yeah. So we'll be adding a church. So I guess this would be the approval of that process. As I
Okay, so
understand.
there's not like a C whatever zoning for church?
No, it could be an
So-
R20. R20. Yeah.
It can be, but I mean, are there churches that are zoned?
R20 in commercial, yeah, they're permissible in commercial. So
But if we leave it R20, if for some reason the church decides they were
Right,
so
that's what I'm
confident they'd be
getting at.
limited in what they could build,
Well-
if we keep it R20.
yeah,
But if we rezoned it to something that's
More strict.
that's not residential, it would totally prevent it from being
Yeah, you kind of,
Smart to get
but
that.
then you kind of get in, let's just say C2, if you zone
Right.
C2, you sort of get into a spot zoning, whereas a hotel could come right there at that site or whatever is zoned at. So I think R20 is your least.
The safest, yeah.
Yeah, your safest.
So how, if it were to go to our residential, how many, you said they could build?
20,000, lots of 20,000 square feet.
Okay.
So 43,000, is total for an acre, so.
Right. So 10
About
houses.
seven, yeah, and you can include the infrastructure,
Yeah.
decrease that by about 15-25%.
Right.
And, that'd be about, it's probably about 4.5, 5
Okay.
total, so they'd be larger lots. But I don't anticipate the church.
Right, no.
Want to flip that.
Do they currently have a commercial septic system installed?
It's septic, yeah, they do currently have septic.
So they have a commercial septic system.
Yeah, I would assume it's commercial,
Have they had a septic tank contractor come out to give them this information about not
yeah, that's
being
what I
able
think
to
it was
extend the
called.
sizing?
Yes,
Okay, so how many gallons is the current septic system?
don't know the answer to that.
I'm not sure. The auditorium is, because of the septic, we're limited to like 150 people.
Okay.
So that's the cap.
I guess I'm wondering because we have anything from 2,500 to 16,000 gallon septic systems with leach fields that are the residual remaining capacity in the yard for where the actual overflow goes from that tank. So I just had some questions about the schematics of what you're currently holding in your capacity.
Yeah, it's not the septic tank that's the issue so much as the drain field.
Okay?
So where our current drain field is,
Okay.
where it barely works enough to add any more lines.
So it's not the system itself, it's the leach
Right,
field that's
and
the
then,
problem.
Of course, and then we have to have a duplicate area, and
Okay,
the area.
what do you want to do?
We could have for a duplicate, I mean,
That makes sense.
we could add more there,
Oh, okay.
but it's not, so where the septic tank is, there's an issue as far as any expansion.
So to be fair, you could expand the tank size, but then the leach field wouldn't
Right,
be there,
right,
and then it
so-
wouldn't accommodate it.
Right.
Okay, that
It's
makes
the problem, really, yes.
Okay.
Right.
Any other discussion? Anyone make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve. No, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 8 is a request recommendation for the board and mayor and aldermen to abandon the Cardinal Drive right-of-way property to revert ownership to the Johnsons.
Valerie.
Valerie?
Yes, so where the Johnson's property is, when this property was platted back in the 60s, there was a right-of-way just reserved in the middle of their property. And as you can see on here, it's just, it's outlined in red. That's on Meadowlark, I think. Is it on Meadowlark? Is that right? Yes, yes. So they just would like to have that taken away. I mean, it would go straight into their property. None of these other lots were, ever built behind it. Nothing was built behind it. So it would just go straight into their property. So they are working with us on the Pleasant Grove Road expansion project. They have some property that we need to get an easement over, and they just asked if we would abandon this little driveway area rather than us paying them for that. So we thought that was a good deal, and we want to do that if you guys are in favor.
Yeah, the gravel, where it says gravel road, that's really Cardinal Road reaching out to Sage Road. That's where that connection is, and so there's no house, these other lots are not.
They own all that property now.
They never been built out, those lots.
And there's a big pond right there too, right?
Yeah.
You want to make a?
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 9, Seventh-day Adventist Church and Dewey Engineering request site plan approval for a 10,500 square foot multi-purpose building.
All right, we have, staff internally, we have, been coordinating with the developer to make sure that they're adhering to, everything. This, part of this property is zoned, as I referenced in my notes, part of zone C1 on the, 31W side, which I think a while back the city had requested it be split like that, and the back portion zoned R20. In your package, you'll see the BZA notes that, reference a 2003 request that was pending their sale, which we went back and did some digging, and the pastor was able to find that, point us to the dates that this occurred when he made the purchase, and they did in fact go to BZA to get this rezoned get it approved by BZA in the R20 for the church to sit on that lot. They'll have, the access will be off of east side rather than 31W. Landscaping, everything we've asked them to do, shown in the site plan.
So the drainage on this property, because I think it kind of slopes, so what about the drainage and the water, the retention pond, all that, is y'all looked at all that?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell, I put a magnifying glass so I couldn't see it.
You can see the contour kind of shows where it slopes. I think the tighter the contour, the better way to explain it, the tighter the contours are, the more slope the lot is. If that makes sense. But we still have construction plan view. So this is, like I said, this is more of a high level.
They're done with it already.
Yeah. So they do have it in here, but final approvals will be once we really dig into it.
So what is the infiltration trench? What is that?
That's how they're doing their water quality. In summary, they're doing the same thing as any other site. There are some unique features to their property as a whole, like depressions, low-lying areas, but they're treating all of the water in that infiltration trench to our water quality standard. And then they've got a pond after that that's right there beside it, that same area. Got their flood controls there, so no different than any other
So
site.
the trench that's there and then the dotted line around it, is that the pond?
Yes.
Okay.
So, because of all the flooding issues we've had recently, and just as I'm learning what these schematics say, it mentions under maintenance notes, and it's mentioned inspection twice weekly and 72 hours apart after each rainfall. And then there's a few other items there. Is that for the developer to maintain during the process? How does that work?
It is for the developer. It's the developer's responsibility. Most of the time they pass that to their contractor to do those inspections. But that is during construction only, where you're seeing that note. The city helps ensure that happens through our MS4 permit, but that's really a TDEC requirement to keep the water clean during construction, which is what you're reading about.
Gotcha. Okay.
So if they're inspecting all this stuff and then they're reporting to you, is it in this, is that what they do?
Those inspection notes would be in a box that are maintained on site, and then either the city stormwater inspectors or the state stormwater inspectors come out and check that to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do.
To be a devil's advocate, how do we know that they're not fudging whatever they're inspecting?
You can inspect it. The folks that go out and do it have the same training as the people that are allowed to do those reports.
Okay.
But there is a certification that you have to have for one. So I guess potentially you would lose that certification if you're, not writing it the way it is, but you can also look at it. I mean, you could go there often enough that you hit on the same day they inspected it if you thought that was happening, and you could look at what they wrote and see if that's accurate.
So after the construction is finished, the trench will still be there for
Yes.
stormwater?
Normally, the way you'll see that if you wanted to dig into these plans is there's a final EPSC plan sheet that will tell you. The EPSC is the temporary stuff where he's reading that. What do they have to do to keep sediment and things like that on their site during construction? That final construction page would show you what comes out and what remains permanent, but you also have a sheet called the grading and drainage sheet, that's permanent infrastructure only. So it has nothing to do with silt fence or anything else.
Learning curve.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
So my understanding, the zoning is already squared away. It's really just the
Site plan.
site plan.
So my only question was about the size of the parking lot. I know it meets the qualification for a plot per 3 feet of the building, but that doesn't allow for potential growth. And where the drainage ditch and everything is, if they were going to extend a parking lot at any time, or they're building, is that drainage ditch, is it in the best place because of the contours of the land? Is that the issue?
I don't know that it's in the best place, but the process, they would have to go through this process again.
Okay.
And they may move that ditch, or they may not. They may have said, well, we plan
I
well
would add
enough.
more parking, they'd have to.
There's a percentage that if they go over their percentage, then they would have to go through this exercise again, and come before the planning commission, if they chose to go. So you can't just expand, you have to go through a site plan process, depending on the size.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Item number 10, Krim Springs subdivision, phase 1, formerly Castilla Farms, Callista Farms, whew, y'all bear with me tonight. B2L Land Surveyors, request final plat approval for 85 single-family lots.
I do have a question, I think it's an ask.
I'll just say, so this was approved back in 2021, as Callista Farms, the final master development. So this is just an extension of that final plat, which allows them to begin, commence with construction once he records the plat. We've gone through, reviewed it, making sure it matches the final plat, and he has some minor changes he had to make, but before he records it, he has made those changes.
Is the overall development 85 lots, or just this phase?
No.
It's hundreds.
Yeah, the overall, no.
But I do have, and I know, you're telling me whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, my understanding of, on the second page of this diagram, it shows us the typical lot detail, okay? And the easements it's showing, from what I understand, like the side yards are only 10 feet wide from the property line to the domicile. But according to what my understanding of zoning, it should be 12.5.
It's not R-15, it's a NC, no, it's SRPD,
So
it's a PUD.
So, okay, so that
Yeah.
changes that.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
It's R-15, I think it's 12.5 size.
That's not what it says.
Is it SR?
SRPD,
Okay.
yeah.
So just to make sure somebody asks it, we can't reduce the development size.
You can't change anything to the final master development plan,
Okay?
so that's all
That's what it is.
approved.
Any other discussion items? Do we have a motion?
Motion I don't like.
It's like, this is hypothetically say you didn't do anything, in 60 days you could go record it anyway.
Right.
So,
Motion to approve. Consideration.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. I think this is gonna wrap us up.